welcome back from wherever you are in the world. And I'd like to work today on just covering some basic elements of hair care and talking about health care in your hair, a little bit of the scalp, and then what I'm going to culminate in doing is a mask, a conditioning mask on this wonderful hair. So I'm just going to start with brushing the hair here so that we've got a smooth hair to work with. And the aim today is to really get some conditioning into this hair. Because the hair is dyed, it has dried out the hair quite a bit. So we're going to do, in the end, a deep condition mask on the hair, which is really going to help it. So hair can often reflect your general health, and really looking after your hair can really help you feel better about yourself, and looking after it, giving it that little bit of extra attention can really help with your overall sense of well-being. So the greatest things that you can do to have really good hair is obviously focus on having a nourishing diet, getting some good exercise, and some really restorative sleep. Those are the key things. And when you don't have these elements in your life, unfortunately it does show, and it shows in particular in your hair. So really working on those aspects of your well-being can really, really help you feel better about yourself and your hair. So massage is obviously a key way of really helping with the well-being of your hair, which is why I would recommend a scalp massage or Indian head. If you visit the hairdressers these days, they often do a little bit of a massage. Even a brief massage will help with the restorative nature. Any form of massage, though, that stimulates the scalp will help with the health of your hair. And loose muscles on the scalp will help with blood flow, and that improves circulation and promotes healing in the scalp area. Obviously there are other products that can really help. Shampoos, if you try and make sure they are as natural as possible. When I first learnt about Indian head massage, one of the books that I read was by the Indian head massage guru Narendra Mehta, and he focuses a whole chapter in his book on hair health and has lots of really, really good advice. One of those pieces of advice that I took on board was to really use a shampoo that was as natural and as free from chemicals as possible. I mean, obviously, you do need some chemical elements in to have that cleansing element, but if there's a way that you can keep them to as minimum as possible, that would be better. So natural products where possible. Always choose a gentle shampoo if you can, and make sure that it's rinsed out well from your hair and that you've got a suitable conditioner. And what we're going to do today is do a deep massage treatment using a conditioning coconut and macadamia nut mask. Okay. But do watch out, because there's lots of broken hair here. So when you wash your hair, wrap the towel around it without wringing your hair out. Wet hair is extremely fragile and can break very easily. And then comb using a very good comb or a wet brush like this one that will get through the hair easily without getting constantly caught, because that will just damage the hair. And then keeping it conditioned, along with all those other things that we talked about in terms of nutrition and exercise and good sleep, will really help. Just giving the hair a little bit of attention, or finding somebody to brush your hair, can also be relaxing and encourage that sense of well-being. It improves that sort of sense of calmness and relaxation. That is part of that promotion of general well-being and health. Relieving all that muscle tension that might be in your scalp. Right, what I am going to do now is just look and check at the scalp health here, just so that we can get a little bit more in-depth view of the scalp. And in particular, because of the dye, there are just patchiness of dryness. So although the hair might feel slightly oily and in need of washing, actually when you look at the scalp, there are elements of dryness, patches of dryness. Which with a good conditioning mask, that will really help. So help with the scalp and the hair care and make the hair feel really soft as well. So dual purpose. Can't see anything else major. Literally it's just a little bit of dryness, and that is from the dyeing. Colouring. Okay. Right, so we're going to move into applying the hair mask now, and we'll do that in sections. So I'm just going to take the coconut and macadamia nut that I mentioned before. Obviously do be careful. If you've got nut allergies, obviously don't use this one, use one that's nut free. And then we're just going to start applying this. And then once you get towards the end, with your fingers, just blend that all in. So just that you get everything covered. And then just take another section. And be careful not to tug on the hair too much. And be as generous as you can be with the product. I'm not a trained hairdresser, so I just go on instinct on doing something like this. But anything that promotes good hair care, good conditioning, if you've got somebody else to do that, you can do this equally at home. Or do this yourself. Just the physical move here can help relieve stress and tension in your head. Right, keep going round. Do the bottom bit first. Particularly drying on the ends. So if you can make sure that you get this on the ends, really helps. And then once you've got this all on the hair, you can rub it in to the scalp a bit more as well. So you don't need to be an expert to put this on, but there's nothing harmful in these ingredients. So be generous with it. It's just an opportunity to condition that hair. And at the same time, get some relaxation in. What you can also think about with your hair is there's all sorts of herbal treatments that you can do. For example, if you can get a blend with rosemary oil in, that can really help. You can get a pre-blended version of some herbal remedies and massage that into your hair, or just do something like a rosemary infusion, which can really help. Right, slowly getting the fabulously long hair, but actually it's quite relaxing while you're doing it. I'm being particularly fussy with a spatula, but you can put this straight on with your fingers if you want to, if it's easier. Just make sure, as I said, that you're not tugging or pulling too much. So that's why it's very important that you do some very clear brushing at the start. And get plenty on the scalp area, which you're going to rub in shortly. Coconut blend, obviously, with macadamia is a very natural ingredients, or as natural as you can get. As I said, a lot of shampoos and conditioners you find have got some form of chemicals in. It's quite difficult to get natural ones that certainly are reasonably priced. But if you want your hair to look good, I think it's worth doing this extra blend. So if you've got any remaining left, then just rub that into the scalp area. So you get a wonderful condition on that. And then what you want to do is just leave this for as long as you want, as long as you feel comfortable. Leave that in, particularly with those ends there. A bit more in those ends. Then what I'm going to do is get the client to wash, to leave that on for a little while, then wash and dry, and then we'll talk about aftercare. Right, okay. So thank you for removing that mask off your hair and drying your hair. That gives me the opportunity to focus on a bit of aftercare. But first of all, I just want to run a brush through that hair, and you can see the difference that that hair mask has actually made in comparison to how I was struggling to brush the hair earlier. It's going straight through, so it has made a huge difference. There's barely any stoppages at all there. So a huge difference in terms of before. So we've already got to the smoothness that we had, which took me ages to get to at the beginning of the video. Okay, so now that looks absolutely glorious. What I want to do is just talk to you a little bit more about aftercare. And in particular, I want you to think about how you're actually washing your hair, really to avoid things like breakages. So it's more actually when you're drying your hair, people start twisting it, turning the hair, and that can really cause breakages because the hair actually swells when it's wet as well. So you want to be very careful that you don't encourage breakages, particularly if your hair is fragile. So that's one little tip there. So just wrap the hair in the towel and obviously go through it with either a wet brush or Tangle Tease is another one that's been recommended, or a very fine comb which has thick prongs on it which can go through and help you with knots, etc. But do try to deep condition as well. Similar to what we did today, using as natural as products as possible. The one we used today was natural origin ingredients is 98%, so that's pretty good going. But really think about what you're purchasing in terms of putting on your hair, avoiding chemicals if at all possible. So also think about your overall health, because as I said earlier, that could be really reflected in your hair. So think about your wellness generally. the vitamins and minerals that you're taking. For the hair in particular, something like silica or vitamin B is very good for hair, and in particular for stimulating hair growth. And herbal treatments such as shampoos with those sorts of ingredients in, such as herbs, can really help to strengthen damaged and fragile hair in particular. And obviously one of the things that I would always encourage is a head or scalp massage with or without oils. If you want to do it with oils yourself, either use something that's pre-blended, and be very careful if you are blending essential oils, because some of them, as I've mentioned before, can be quite toxic. So you don't want a reaction on your scalp. But definitely Indian head massage I would really recommend, as that really encourages hair growth, stimulates that wonderful lymphatic system that we have, which is responsible for supplying and draining excess fluid, plays a crucial role in things like protection against disease and infection. And again, with things like that, I would always encourage you to try and squeeze in a massage to de-stress. And anything like that will show in your hair, so your general sense of well-being will show overall in your hair. And you can see here that mask has made a significant impact, particularly on the ends here that were very, very dry. And this is going to make the hair look fantastic and make you look full of health and well-being.